Hey everyone, Oscar here. Welcome back to another song ranking. In this video, I will be ranking all 13 tracks featured in Death Battle 25. So before we start the video, I only have two criteria I'll be judging each song on. The obvious one is whether or not it sounds good. No explanation needed there. The second one is whether the song fits both characters, and if it does, how well does it fit them? So with that said, let's jump right in. In last place is Neon Ash from Buffy vs. Blade. I've watched a bit of the first Blade movie, and I read a Buffy comic book, so, that makes me a total expert on both of these series. But jokes aside, this song doesn't fit either of these characters at all. Sure, it sounds good, but it's pretty much just club music for the entire song. Well, except for the part where everyone in the club dies, where it turns into pop rock for some reason, and then randomly sounds like it got ripped straight out of the MCU, and then at the end it just turns into a brief guitar shredding session? I'm sorry, what the hell is happening? So, moral of the story, this song is pretty bad. Don't listen to it. In 12th place is Spiral of Emotion from Kyle Rayner vs. Simone the Digger. I can already hear the death threats. So a lot of people like the commission track for this song made by Brandon Yates, which is called Will of the Drill. I think that song is fine, but in my opinion, Spiral of Emotion is actually worse. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad song by any means. The main problem with Spiral of Emotion is that it's completely unoriginal. I talked about this in my Death Battle 24 ranking video when I was talking about Solid State Invincible, and I said that it was just a cheap copy of Diabolical Invincible Me. And Spiral of Emotion has the exact same problem, but worse. Like Will of the Drill, Spiral of Emotion has the same lyrics and motifs, and it's even more obvious that none of it is original aside from a few minor lyric modifications. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that Spiral of Emotion was a remaster of Will of the Drill, because they sound almost exactly like the same song. But another part is that even the original motifs aren't original. One of the biggest motifs in the song is taken straight from Spellaholics Synonymous. Just have a listen. For such a hyped up song, it's a shame that Spiral of Emotion was such a big disappointment. In 11th place is Reiði from Asura vs. Kratos. At a first glance, the song itself is fantastic. It sounds really great, and the sentimental bit at the end sounds really beautiful. The choir, however, is by far the showstopper of the song. They all sound really great together and complement the tone of the song. Despite all this, though, Reiði is not without its flaws. While it is very fitting for Kratos, it isn't fitting for Asura at all. It mostly combines Greek and Norse motifs, and doesn't feel like a song inspired by Asura's wrath. This song honestly has the same issue as Jailhouse Rocket. It sounds great and fits one character really well, but doesn't fit the other character at all. And yes, I will die on that hill. In 10th place is Wild Tomfoolery from Wile E. Coyote vs. Tomcat. Wild Tomfoolery is the goodbye chimichanga of this season, because it's pretty similar. It's very goofy and splits off randomly to fit the skits during the fight. The main issue with this song is that it's a background song, but even then, it really isn't much of a problem. It still sounds good, although I wouldn't recommend listening to this song on its own. Out of all of the goofy death battle songs, this is somewhere in the middle, like between Oh Yeah and Balderdash, I guess. That is a bit of a goofy song, no? My favorite part about the song, however, is the Looney Tunes closing motif at the end. It's a nice little touch, and I just like it a lot. In 9th place is Millennial Monsters from Ash vs. Yugi. Again with the unnecessary guitar, man. I thought we left this in Season 7. Besides that, the lyrics for Millennial Monsters are very fitting for both characters, and it's cool that they snuck in a classic Pokemon reference at the beginning. Also, they somehow got Jason Page to sing this song, who is the same guy who sang the Pokemon anime theme song, and he still sounds fantastic. He's the show stealer by far, but Brandon and Therewolf Media still managed to keep up with him somewhat during the song. For such a grand season finale, Millennial Monsters did not disappoint. Oh, also, I haven't listened to Masters of Monsters yet, but I may or may not cover it in a future video. In 8th and 7th place is Death in Bloom and Death in Bloom Adagio Edition respectively from Ruby vs. Maka. I don't know a whole lot about Ruby or Soul Eater, although I did gain some knowledge of both series thanks to my matchup examination on Ruby vs. Maka. The singing is fitting for both characters, and also sounds really great. There are also a lot of parts in the song where they start singing Japanese, like during the part where Soul is playing piano, which in the regular version a guitar plays for some reason. The Adagio version is better in my opinion solely because of that part. Yeah, for some reason there's a lot of guitar in this song, which I can't say for sure is fitting for both characters. Death in Bloom is still a pretty big improvement over Remnants of the Soul, so I'm not complaining too much. In 6th place is Halo to Hell from Doomslayer vs. Master Chief. The intro to Halo to Hell is a bit confusing to me, as I was expecting for it to be entirely metal or rock, but it's such a small part of the song that it doesn't really matter. I guess it does make sense considering both Halo and Doom have very heavy Christian themes. The choir was kinda needed for a song like this, so I'm glad it's there. However, I would have been completely fine if the song was entirely rock or metal, because to be honest, the song could have been fine without the religious parts. However, then the song would sound too much like Hell's Angels, and with such a small season, it's important to avoid that. In 5th place is Skin Deep from Mahito vs. Shigaraki. Skin Deep is a pretty unique song, because it's sung almost entirely in Japanese. It's a bit strange that this is a new thing, considering that they've done many other anime versus anime matchups and haven't made them sing in Japanese, but it's probably easier to make the song in English. But enough about the lyrics. The song is very fitting for both characters, and I like some of the vocal effects that they use. However, I don't really understand why there's so much guitar in the song. I would think that it would sound more like Kings of Evil Incarnate. Go listen to it, it's a good song. Still though, Skin Deep is still one of the most underrated songs on this list. In 4th place is The Devil Inside from Dante vs. Clive. Death Battle finally made a song right up my alley, but putting my love for metal aside once again, The Devil Inside is a really good song. I don't know too much about Final Fantasy XVI, but the song is definitely fitting for Dante. The lyrics are also really fitting as well, and the guitar is a fantastic addition to enhance the hellish vibe. The random violin during the song, or whatever it is, also works really well with the guitar. However, I'm not much of a fan of the build-up to the finale, as it just sounds kinda empty. Where's the guitar when you actually need it? Despite its flaws though, even the devil may cry at this semi-Final Fantasy. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll shut up now. In 3rd place is Madness of the Monster from Godzilla vs. Hulk. Madness of the Monster is not at all like its predecessor Ikari, which isn't a bad thing. The cinematic and grandiose theme of this song is still very fitting for Hulk and Godzilla. I could honestly see this song being in an MCU movie or Godzilla -1. I especially like how the song builds up to what feels like the finale of the song, only for a high and ominous tone to reveal that the song is far from over. Then the song builds back up very quickly, showing that the situation has become much more serious for both combatants. In 2nd place is Hell's Angels from Spawn vs. Ghost Rider. Compared to Ride to Hell, which is basically this song's spiritual predecessor, Hell's Angels is a major improvement. Not only is it way more fitting for both characters, but it isn't just a generic rock song. You can tell that there's much more emotion in this song than Ride It to Hell, probably because there are also lyrics. Speaking of the lyrics and singing, Tyson Yen's voice goes really well with this song, and considering that he's sung for similar music like Metal Gear Rising, he's the perfect pick for this song. Even if you're not a metal or rock fan like me, you can still admit that this is a great song. In first place is You Say Danger from Miles Morales vs. Deku. Comparing this song to its spiritual predecessor, What's Up Danger, You Say Danger is way better. The lyrics are very rap-like and fitting for both characters, and the song also feels hopeful and very hero-like. Luckily, though, it manages to balance this on top of trying to be a rap song, something that What's Up Danger had some trouble with. You Say Danger is also a better song than Strongest Alive, which is actually referenced in this song. So overall, I think this song is a great blend of both Miles Morales and Deku. However, there is a teeny bit of missed potential, as I could see this song being even more fire if Omega Sparks was in it. I'm not mad about it though, because this is still a fantastic song. And that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below, and comment what your favorite track from Death Battle 25 is. Just remember to be respectful of the opinions of myself and others who may comment on this video. If you want to help my channel grow, then click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to see more power scaling and Death Battle content from me, then make sure to turn on those notifications as well. This is Oscar, signing out and wishing you a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.